Hi students, let's continue this journey, the journey of Activity 155, the pegboard toy. We've created the pegboard, we've created the round peg and the square peg, and we've even applied some assembly constraints to position those parts in the appropriate locations. Now we need to add legs to the pegboard toy. They will support the pegboard off the table so that the square and round pegs may be inserted until they are flush with the surface of the pegboard. Now, we're going to do this, and you can see here in the activity that we'll be using wood that is 3/4 of an inch thick, and the legs will be assembled on the pegboard using what's known as a dado joint. It's a real thing, look it up. The dado joint adds strength when joining two pieces of wood. So let's look at what they tell us to do. We're going to open our pegboard toy assembly file, and then from the component panel we're going to create in place, and we're going to follow these steps. So let's go to Inventor and let's follow these steps. I've already got it open. Awesome. Okay, this is the pegboard toy assembly file. From the component panel, I'm going to click on Create. The Create in Place dialog box appears. In the new component name, I want to name this End. That's what they say, so that's what I typed. We're going to check the box that says Constrain Sketch Plane to Selected Face, which is already checked. And we're going to select the front face of the pegboard part. This one right here. What did I miss? I missed, oh, because I have to click OK. Yay. And then we'll click this face. Okay. Now, we should probably go ahead and right click and say New Sketch on this face right here. Okay, so there's our sketch plane, and that's what we're sketching. So we're going to create projected geometry. So look right up here, Project Geometry, and we're going to click on the front face of the peg. So look, it added a rectangle to my sketch plane. We're going to create our leg or our end using this. And the picture in the packet, not this build, that's part of the picture, but that's not the picture, that's part of the picture. The picture we need is right here. So it tells us that we want it to be 3/4 of an inch wide, and the rest of the numbers we don't really know. But we do know that our parts were 3 inches long, and that we were told right here that we want these legs such that the parts, the square and round pegs, are flush with the top surface when they hit the tabletop. So let's look at that. If we know that the rounded square pegs are 3 inches long, and this material is 3/4 of an inch, that means we have 2 1/4 inches sticking out the bottom. So let's look at that. Okay, so here's this. I'm going to draw a line from here. Notice I'm trying to make sure I get that constraint. I want to be on that line right there. Bam. That needs to be vertical. And then this way. And then this way we're going to go quite a ways down. So I zoom out a little bit. Bam. See how it jumps right there? That's good. That's what we want. Bam. Kabam. And there's our shape. Now we need to dimension it. So let's look at this. Dimension. We're told that from here to here is 0.375. We're told that this is 0.75, or 3/4. Now the other numbers aren't too critical except for this one. We want this one to be 2.25. Because that way, when the pegs are all the way through, they'll be flush at the top. Now, we don't want this just floating around up here, so we're going to go ahead and give this a dimension 2, and it's almost 1, so let's make it perfectly 1. Now, see how it changed color? It's fully constrained, so we can finish the sketch. Right-click, and right-click and finish edit. Oh, you know what? I forgot to extrude that part, didn't I? So I need to go back to that right here, this sketch. I meant to extrude that. So finish sketch here, extrude this shape. It needs to go the other way so we can flip it right there, flip. And then type in 3 inches. Man, 3. Okay. Now we can right click and finish edit. Isn't that awesome? Look at what we did. That's amazing. By the way, if that sketch plane drives you crazy, and it does sometimes, we can turn it off. Look over here, see this work plane? Right click and visibility. Turn off the visibility if you don't want to see it. Okay? So there's our end. Notice it's listed over here now, end. Okay? Save the assembly. Do you want to save changes? Yes to all. Yes to all. Okay. Now, we do need to place another component. So I'm going to go place. And here's end. It wasn't there before, but now it is. Say OK, open, and place. Right click and say OK. Now we do need to constrain it, so we got to flip it all sorts of around. And I'm going to start right away. I'm just going to turn off that dang work plane. I don't like it. Turn off that work plane. Oh my gosh. Make it go away. Now let's think about this. I'm going to rotate my view a little bit. Rotate. The easiest way to begin constraining this is with this little face right here and this face right here. So I'm going to do constrain, mate, and I'm going to click on this surface, and I want to click on this one. Oh, you know, I'm going to undo that because before we do that, wow, I brought that back. Let's make that go away. Before I do that, I'm actually going to constrain this little face here, this surface right here. See it, that one? I want to constrain that to this top. That'll keep it from being upside down. Did you notice how it was upside down a second ago? So let's constrain to the top, this little surface here. Okay? Go ahead and say OK, because I'm going to pull this out. Notice how I can move it? Okay? I want to be able to see these shapes. Let's constrain this one now to here. Okay, good, good. But notice it's still not perfect. See how it's still, I can actually still move it. I can move it this way. So we need one more constraint. This one to this, what? Ah, but we have to change to flush. Instead of mate, we'll be flush to here. And then apply. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. That's awesome. Y'all are doing so good. Keep up the good work, students. Let's save our assembly. Think. Save. Students, at this point, you have created the basics for the pegboard toy. We have a round peg and a square peg. We have a pegboard, and then we created an end. And then we placed the other end on the other one. Let's take just a moment, and let's go ahead and make this look pretty. So I'm going to select each part. And up here where it says default, I'm going to choose a color. You can choose any color you want, but we do want this to be pretty. It is a children's toy. So I'm going to select some different colors, reds, blues, and greens, yellows, all these wonderful colors so that it's bright and attractive to look at. So let's find yellow. I want to make the ends green. So we'll click up here. Green. Green? I don't like green polished. Is that good? Oh, that looks weird. Maybe there's a better one. Let's see if I can find a better green. If not, then we can pick a different color. Well, there's olive green. Smooth. Is there a smooth green? Dark forest green. Oh, that looks better, doesn't it? Dark forest green. So let's put a dabble of that over here too. So smooth, dark. By the way, this doesn't really matter, but we do want it to look nice. So smooth, dark forest green. Perfect. Now that looks like something a kid would like to play with. Let's save that, and please join me as we continue this activity with the alert and the changes that we have to make because of the alert that's also part of the activity. Thank you for your attention.